The number one objection I hear a lot is, hey guys, look, I have all 10 of my fingers. I've been doing this 30 plus years. I don't need a SawStop. It's the first time user. It's that rookie. They're the ones that need a SawStop. When in reality, the more times you put yourself behind a blade, the more times you put yourself at risk for something to go wrong. That's why it's called an accident. Nobody tries to cut their fingers off, obviously. That's why it's an accident. So, let me go back. The next thing I hear a lot too is, hey guys, look, I know my SawStop's awesome. I'm saving up. I've got a 12-month plan. I'll be getting one of these saws. Love hearing that. It's great. I'm glad you know you need a SawStop, but being halfway saved up doesn't make you any safer today, because you never know when car breaks down, roof leaks, another tool in your shop goes out, and now you got money you had set aside is going somewhere else. The reason we show this guy, you've probably seen him before. His name's Dennis Melton. He is retired now, but he worked at a cabinet shop just down from our headquarters out of Portland, Oregon, and he's one of those guys with 20 plus years of experience. He's making a couple cuts before lunch one day when his wood bound up, his push stick broke, and his hand's going into the blade. Doing everything right, but his hand went into the blade. Instead of going and grabbing lunch, he's now going to the emergency room with a couple fingers in his bag. And as you can see, he wasn't able to get one of his fingers reattached. And why we tell his story and why he always wants us to tell his story is because he knew about SawStop, his boss knew about SawStop, and now they live with that regret every day that they could have had it before the accident. And of course, guess what? 3 days after the accident, they replaced all their saws with SawStop. So that's why he always wants us to tell his story. So as you can see, guys, the 9 minutes is almost up. The next woodworker is statistically about to have an accident on a table saw. So please, guys, after this demo, I promise I'm doing it right now. Find one of us in a black SawStop shirt. Tell us your story. Let us know, if you have any questions, comments, concerns. That's why we're here. And please, guys, get a SawStop. Replace those old finger munching saws. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to turn my camera on. A couple things I'm going to mention is I'm going to put the blade all the way up to do the demonstration. Obviously, to cut this small board, I would not do that. I'm also going to run with the riving knife and not the blade guard. We still recommend the blade guard just like any other table saw, but just for the demonstration, I'm going to run it this way. And I got a solid green light behind me. This gentleman might be able to see it. But what the saw does, it actually goes through a self-check every time you turn it on. So if I didn't have the safety system working, I wouldn't get part of the blade. We've been around for 15 years, and as I mentioned earlier, we have over 130,000 saws in use. Never had a failure of the system to work. It's worked 100% of the time. So now's the time to hit record. Taking a video. It's going to be quick, and I will walk the hot dog around afterwards. That's it. As I mentioned here, I'm going to walk it around. Now at that speed rate, I tried to simulate a slip, trip, and fall into the blade. And I went a lot faster than I probably should have, or you would when making a cut. And instead of having an amputation, we're talking about just a little Band-Aid.